Basically, Brexit need not be the end of the world. It need not be the end of all things. We need not have a great schism in the Western world over it. We could have trade deals or agreements on certain areas of trade and diplomacy. We'll continue to be in NATO. We'll continue to cooperate in other areas, including green agreements, climate change. We will continue to cooperate in a great many ways. But as far as the European Union, we won't be tied together. And that's the key thing with British independence. It's basically not being tied together politically. And that includes not being tied together in terms of how we regulate our trade, strictly speaking. Otherwise, we might be prohibited from signing sweet deals with other nations. And I know that that is a key thing with Brexiteers, where they want to have things as they would prefer. And obviously within Europe itself, the Europeans don't want to give away too much. They don't want to give that sweet deal as far as Britain and the UK, because if you sign a sweet deal, suddenly perhaps the Republic of Ireland, perhaps Italy, perhaps, and several other nations might consider having their own referendums, and they might go, well, you can get a good deal on the outside, and as a result, you end up with those nations leaving the European club. And that would be potentially disastrous for a ever-shrinking European Union, which then has a series of wealthy nations basically propping up the remainder, especially those nations in the east, which need a great amount of support, notably Poland, Romania, and of course Bulgaria, as well as other nations which may well be receiving a lot more in the future. And so, yes, it could lead in a very dangerous direction if they give away too much, and that's why it seems to be probable that the status of Europe and Britain will be a no deal, or perhaps some kind of deal where it's short term. So it won't be an extension. It will be a 2-year deal where things remain the same, and at the end of that period, well, we might have started digging ourselves out of the whole COVID crisis by then, and as a result, we can begin to move forward with new plans and new negotiations, or just simply have no deal whatsoever. So for the 2 years, or maybe not, we will basically stick with the same trade level, the same trade status, I should say. But after that, basically, you'll see Britain completely separate from the Union itself. I mean, that is possible because circumstances are very peculiar. We have no idea what's going to be happening by the end of the year, or come next year, or even, going forward with future years. We have no idea what's really going to happen. So I can understand there is a demand amongst some people to rejoin the EU, or to have some kind of deal just simply to keep things going, to stop any major disruptions, as there is this recovery from Brexit and from COVID and the previous global economic slowdown and other relating issues which are obviously problematic.